everyone out there in Facebook world. How are you guys today? It is Wednesday. Yes, and I am back. I'm so sorry I missed you guys for the last couple of days, but sister girl was sick. Can you believe that? This whole summer cold thing, and I don't know, I think I still have a little bit of it still going on, but it's all good. It's all good because I am just so glad to be here. I'm trying to make sure I get in a good spot so you guys can see me. How's everyone doing out there today on this Wednesday? I hope you guys are all doing well. I am definitely feeling better. Annette, hey boo, how are you? Thank you so much for tuning in, Annette and Jones L. Jason. That looks like a new name, new person, but I'm welcome. Welcome to the Mahogany Motivational Hour. Today is Wednesday and it's time for our Mahogany Motivational Moment. Hi. I'm not going to try to say your name. You check Christian. Mr. Christian, thank you so much for tuning in to the Mahogany Motivational Hour today for our Mahogany Motivational Moment. And hi, Kevin. Thank you guys for tuning in. And Monique, thank you for tuning in. Lots of new people. I'm so excited. I hope that you guys, when this is over, that you will take this and forward it and place it on your page for me so that people will all tune in from now on for the Mahogany Motivational Moment. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and take my little spot here. We're going to get started because this is actually part of my lunch period. And, so I like to come to you guys while I'm out here. It's a beautiful day. A little sticky out here today. It's been raining. But like I said, I do apologize for not being here for the last couple of days. But I was not feeling so well. But I do feel better. Hi, Sylvia. How are you, dear? Jonathan, Ernestine, Leslie, thank you guys all. Jonathan, you have a blessed day too, Jonathan. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Now today, we're going to be talking about, I'm going to give you guys a story, okay? And this story is going to be, you remember the story in the Bible about Joseph and how Joseph ended up in prison and all that, but they threw him in the hole and threw him in the pit, and he ended up going to the palace anyway. The title of this is From the Pit to the Palace. But it's the modern day version, okay? Hi, Mary. How are you, dear? Thanks for tuning in to today's Mahogany Motivational Moment. So it's going to be a modern day version of Joseph, from the pit to the palace, okay? But in this story, there's no palace, not really. But you get my drift, right? Hi, Diana. How are you? I just saw you just a second ago. Hello. Thank you for tuning in. But anyway, so let's get started with the story today. I'm going to talk about a mom. Her name is Debra. She has 4 children, and she's very hardworking. She's a very hardworking woman. She's, minds her business, and she just wants to do the best thing for her children. She wants to have a good life and provide a good life for them, like most of us do. So she goes from day to day doing her thing. Now, lo and behold, Debra didn't realize that her sisters and brothers really had it in for her, just like Joseph, remember? So they got it in for her, and they're just like, Debra's always getting the attention from our parents. They spend a lot more time with her. They love on her. They do this and that. What they didn't realize is that Debra is the only one of all the children who showed interest in something other than being on Facebook and being messy on Facebook and doing all this kind of stuff. So she took time out to learn different languages because her parents were very fluent in different languages as well. So they taught it. They taught Debra these things. Hi, Terry. How are you? And, hi, Annette. My Annetta. I know she hates when I call her Annetta, but that's all right. She's going to be all right. But anyway, thank you guys all for tuning in again. So let me finish with the story. So Debra is learning. She learned different languages from her parents because she knew that at some point, it would be good. It's not a bad thing to know different languages because it makes you more diverse in anything that it is that you're out there doing. So, hi, Terry. How are you, dear? And so this gift is something that, everyone knew that Debra had this. Well, her brothers and sisters were not happy about this because they're like, what? She thinks she's better than us, okay? Didn't I tell you it was going to be a little modern day version? She thinks she's better than us because she got this language thing that she does. And our parents like her. They're probably going to leave all the money to her. And she don't like us. She doesn't like us. So if they die and she's the one with the money, she's not going to give us anything. She's not going to help us out. So we got to do something about that. Uh-oh. They want to do something about it. Because, see, jealousy has a way. See, some of you don't understand. You don't even have to do anything for people not to like you. You can be the nicest person. You can be the most giving person. You can be loving and all of that. And people still won't like you. Okay? So this is the case with Debra. You know, she's just going about her business. The girl's just trying to get ahead and do her thing. Hey, sis, how are you? So they're upset. They're like, nah, we got to get rid of her. Remember how they did Joseph, his brothers? They all plotted and schemed together. We got to get rid of him. So you know in the story of Joseph what they did to him. Well, in Debra, in this modern day version, they said, what is it that we can do to Debra that will destroy her? What can we do that's going to break her down? Break her down to the white meat. Y'all know that saying. What can we do? What is this something that she really loves? Her children. So, hi Michelle, how are you, dear? Hi Juan, thank you so much for tuning in. Her children, that's something that she loves. Okay, well what kind of idea do you have? The sisters and brothers are saying, why don't we call DCF? We'll call DCF on her and tell them that she's been abusing her kids and that, you know, and all other kind of stuff. They'll believe it. They're not going to really investigate anyway. They're trying to milk the system. They're trying to use the system to destroy their own sister because of jealousy. Okay? So, hi LaFara, thank you so much, and Edward, thank you for tuning in. So they decide we're going to call DCF and we're going to tell them. Now, to make it more believable, what we're going to do is we're going to get a lot of people in the community to agree with us that this is what's going on with Debra. We're going to get them to agree that she's been doing this. And so they did. They called DCF. They got what they needed. DCF, of course, reacted, responded. Hi, Lizette, how are you, dear? And they ended up arresting her. They actually arrested her because they don't really have to have enough evidence or probable cause sometimes. Just someone's word can destroy your character. Hello, somebody. All right? So they arrested her and threw her in jail. Now, all Debra can think about is, oh my gosh, this is going to mess me up. I've been trying to get that director position as a DCF director for years. All of my schooling, everything I've ever gone through, everything I've ever done was because my love for children, my love for families and keeping families together. And now here I'm getting thrown in jail for something that I love. How can they believe that I would ever harm my kids? So imagine, this is what Debra's going through, okay? Her family, her sisters and brothers, they're happy now. They're like, we got rid of her. Not only did we get rid of her, we embarrassed her. Took joy in her demise, or so they thought. All right, so they're going about their daily lives. Let me let this truck pass, Mr. T.G. Lee. They're going about their daily lives and not even thinking about the hurt that they've caused in this woman's life, the embarrassment, her children's life, because the children are the ones that are really hurting because they don't have their mom. All they wanted her to do was go away because of jealousy. So they lied. So now Debra is in jail trying to fight for her innocence, clear her name, whatever. But it's not working as fast as she thought it would. She's there a little bit longer than she thought. So while she's there, guess what she got to do? She ended up in a jail cell with somebody who speaks a different language, and nobody else in the jail knew how to speak languages like Debra did. So now she's in jail with all these people, and they use her a lot to translate for people that come in or out or whatever the case may be that speak a different language. So now she's getting a chance to be used. Her gift is making room for her. See, the sisters and brothers were so upset that they called these police because they're thinking, you know what? Like a lot of you guys, when you got anger and all of this jealousy in your heart for people, they were too busy worrying about, well, there's no way we're going to be able to get our shine on if her lamp's the only one on the table. See, they were so concerned, they didn't realize that God gave them their own light to shine. They wanted to dim hers. And all they could think about was getting rid of her. So, they don't realize, okay, you tried to hurt Debra, but she's in jail and her gift is making room for her. Yes, she's in jail, but she's living in the best jail cell. Hello, somebody. See, sometimes when you're in a pit, it can also be your protection. Sometimes you can be pretty in the pit, okay? They think they've destroyed you, but you live in large. Now, she's in jail still, but guess what? She's able to use her gift. So now, everybody's hearing about this wonderful woman who can speak these languages. So guess what? Lo and behold, the jail cells are starting to get full. So they say, Miss Debra, you don't seem to be a threat or anything like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to move you up to a private jail cell simply because we don't have room down here in the regular jails. But, you're still in jail, but you're at least going to be in the best one. See, sometimes you end up in a pit and God will still make you comfortable, right? So she's in this jail cell. It's like a private room. But guess where she's at? Right next to the head jailer. Right next to the head jailer. Now, won't God set you up? Put you in position for promotion? God will put you in position for promotion. You can't worry about the transportation he gets you there on. See, some of you guys are trying to get there in a Cadillac. He might want you to walk. He might want you to catch the city bus. Who cares? At the end of the day, you're getting to your promise. Now, this one came by way of jail cell. So she's in there, and the head jailer, just so happens one day, a letter comes in. A letter comes into the jail, and the head jailer that she's next to is the person responsible for opening up all the mail. Well, guess what? The letter was in Italian. And that's one of the languages that Debra can speak. So, and of course, read. She can read and she can speak it. Hi, Sonia. How are you, dear? Mimi, Rosalind, thank you guys all for tuning in. Jeffrey, thank you all so much for tuning in. And so she's the only one that can speak Italian. So, she's in there. The head jailer comes over and says, hey, Debra, I understand that you're our person that can read and understand these different languages. We got a letter. Can you read this and tell us what it is? What's going on with this letter? Because they never know if someone is writing them about evidence or something like that. So Debra gets the letter. She reads it, and she starts crying. She starts crying and lifting her hands to God in praise. And this jailer's looking at her like, what is wrong with this woman? Guess what? This letter that she was reading was a letter from one of the people in the community. Now, let me back up just a little bit. When the sisters and brothers were trying to plot and scheme to get Debra locked up and for her to lose her children, they didn't realize that the people in the community loved her because she was always doing nice things. She was always helping people in the community because it was a very diverse community. So she was being used to bring people together. Now, you know the enemy don't like that. See, this is where some of you guys get so frustrated. You're sitting around here worrying about why all this stuff is happening to you. Listen, let me free you right now. If you didn't have something the enemy wanted, he would not be after you. If you are comfortable and the enemy is not bothering you, those are the ones you need to worry about because he's not afraid. He's too comfortable. That's just like being around an enemy. If you're around one of your enemies and they're a little bit too comfortable with you, see, I need my enemies to be a little worried about me. If I come in the room, you need to worry. But if your enemies are a little bit too comfortable, it could be you just got out of bed with them. I'm just saying. So, if the enemy is bothering you, that means you have something he wants. So stop trying to figure this thing out. It's not always what you've done. It's not always something you've done wrong, that you're going through stuff. Stop letting people fool you. And some of y'all church people, stop lying to people, okay? All y'all got to do is get in the word and read Job and see what all that stuff happened to Job. Did Job do something? Job was an upright man. He loved him. It was a deal between God and the devil, okay? God allowed it because he wanted to prove to his enemy that he is God. Sometimes you're going through things in your life because God is using you to prove to your enemies that he is the one in charge. Now, let me tell you what happens with Debra. Now, Debra was allowing her gift to be used in the community. All of the people loved her. But those are the same people that her sisters and brothers went to when they wanted to destroy her. They said, hey, you guys come and help us out. Say that she did this, okay? But what they didn't realize is what Debra had been doing with one of them, she had also taught him English. Oh, boy. Here we go to the twist in the story. Y'all know I'm an author, right? So you know I tell stories, all right? And they ain't always true sometimes, but it fits for the time. So the letter was written in Italian, true enough. But the reason he was able to write the letter in because when the sisters and brothers came around trying to get them to do this, they understood what they were saying. This one man understood it. But he never let anybody know he knew English. So when he wrote this letter, he exonerated. He exonerated Debra, and he said, I know a woman by the name of Debra. We were told to lie on her. She is not. She's a good mom. So if this lady, and they actually wrote the letter to DCF, but DCF can't read Italian. So the letter that was supposed to help her, she would have never known if she didn't speak the language. Ain't that something? So the only reason the letter ended up in Debra's lap is because she had a gift that no one else had. The letter exonerated her. Debra was released. You know, to make a long story short, she got out of jail. Because, see, what her sisters and brothers tried to do, they wanted to destroy her. They wanted to make her look bad. They wanted to make her look bad amongst her peers because they wanted to destroy her. They wanted to make it look as though she would harm her children when her heart was built around building families. She had proven that in her life. All because someone was jealous and didn't like her for no reason. Because these people will not always just have a reason to not like you. You can just your presence alone. Y'all, I got to free you today because some of you guys are bound up because of what people are saying about you. That was me. I thank God for my sister Ann who helped free me of that. Always worried about what people thought. Nah, I don't care. But I had to be free from it. So I'm trying to free y'all today. All right? So she was doing what God called her to do in her gift. Living out her purpose. And someone came and tried to destroy her. But let me tell you something. What men mean for evil, God means for your good. Let me say that again. What men mean for evil, God means for your good. Think about Jesus. Look at what Judas and Peter and all those guys did. What was the bottom result in all of that betrayal? Salvation. Men meant for evil, Judas, Peter. God meant for your good. He saved you. Because all of that betrayal led Jesus to the cross. So when men do things evil, sometimes it's for your good. Now, Debra probably didn't think that when they put those handcuffs on her, though, right? Some of you guys got handcuffs in the spirit, so to speak. You're going through some trouble because of something somebody tried to do to you. It's hard to see it right now. That's why I'm preparing you. Because some of you are getting ready to go through something. You're going through it or you're coming out of it. So I'm preparing you because this is the word that God gave me today. So this got to be for somebody. It could be for me. I don't know. You know? But whomever it's for, this is the word today. What men mean for evil, God means for your good. Now, you know I have a quote for you today. Because I always have a quote. Now, like I said, let me tell you guys the end of the story again. What ended up happening, Debra got out of jail because this letter proved to them that this was all a scheme. This was a plot and a scheme by her sisters and brothers to get rid of her. She was cleared. She was cleared. Keena says, God is so clever. The enemy only seems to appear he is winning. When he is not, we are the victors. Jesus won it all, prevailed in the process. That's right, Keena. Thank you so much for that comment. So she got out of jail. She was exonerated. Now, guess what? This is the part that's really good. This is the part where you guys can shout on. Okay? The director of DCF got fired because they were aware that something wasn't good in this process. And they just kind of looked over some stuff. You know how people in high positions don't always do their job? Hello, somebody. Yeah, we know that. And this director of DCF, she didn't do her job because she got caught up in the world. She got caught up with this whole nonsense. She didn't care. She looked over the evidence and allowed this stuff to happen to this woman, knowing that it wasn't true. So she lost her job. Guess who was next in line? Y'all better shout. Debra. See, she put her application in years ago. She kept praying over her application. But she kept working while waiting. Hello, somebody. She kept working while waiting. She had been praying for God for this position. But look how it came to her. What men mean for evil, God means for your good. Now, let me give you guys the quote so I can get out of here today. This one's going to bless you. Hope y'all doing all right out there. Let me find out where I wrote this thing at. Right here. Okay. I want you guys to stay with me on this one. Ooh, it's hot out here. Ooh, I look like I'm shining. Help me, Holy Ghost. That's the glory. But anyway, so here's our quote for today. You guys listening? Thank you guys all for tuning in. You guys are so awesome. I hope all of you will take this and post it on your page today, because this quote is going to be amazing. Dig one ditch, you better dig two. The ditch you dig may be for you. I don't know about you, but judging from this story, I'd say this is true. You plot and scheme to bring people strife, but what you're really doing is bringing destruction into your own life. God said in his word that he'll always have us. Joseph's brothers threw him in a pit, and he still ended up in the palace. So be careful of the strife you plot and scheme to send, because that ditch you just dug is the one you will fall in. I'm going to say that one again, because that was a pretty long quote. That was more like a poem. It was a poet and didn't even know it. Because let me tell you something. Some of you guys are out here so easy to scheme on people. I find it so comfortable. I remember a day we would never even think about trying to hurt somebody just because we don't like them. You guys have gotten caught up in this social media world, what's on Facebook, what's on Instagram and InstaChat and what is it? InstaChat or Snapchat and Twitter and Pinterest and all these social media stuff. It has controlled our lives, and we don't know how to treat people anymore. You guys are on Facebook, and you got all these friends on Facebook and right there in Monroeville, you guys are passed right by them in Piggly Wiggly and won't even speak. But you'll speak to them on Facebook. We have got to change this, because the enemy is using this to destroy us. Now, in this story with Debra and her sisters, you mean to tell me they hated her that much? They were willing to let this woman go without her children, without her career, all because of their jealousy, because their parents liked her more? They didn't like Debra more. They didn't love Debra more. They loved all their kids. Just like Joseph. Joseph's parents did love him because of his gift. He was able to interpret dreams and all that. Yes, but I'm sure he loved them all. But they were all in their feelings, just like these people in this story were. See, I wanted to give you guys a modern day version of what Joseph went through, because we can relate to this stuff. We can relate to DCF. That's one way you can destroy a person's life. It's through calling and giving false information to these people who don't know their butt from a hole in the ground, who will follow up and put you in jail without even really looking into it. And that's what happened to Debra. But guess what? It caused her to go from the pit to the palace. See, in the pit, sometimes you get protection. In the pit is where you find out your promise. In this dream, this pit led her right to her promise. There's purpose in pits, guys. I know that seems hard, because especially if you're in one, it's hard to find your purpose in the pit, because all you think about is that it's meant to destroy you. That may be how it started out, but that's not how it will end. When you trust God, when you have a relationship with God, he will turn all that around, just like he did in this story. I'm going to give you this quote again before I go. The ditch you dig, let me start over. Dig one ditch, you better dig two. Ditch you dig may be for you. I don't know about you, but judging from this story, I'd say this is true. You plot and scheme to bring people strife, but what you're really doing is bringing destruction into your own life. God said in his word that he'll always have us. Joseph's brothers threw him in a pit, and he still ended up in the palace. So be careful of the strife you plot and scheme to send, because that ditch you just dug is the one you will fall in. Be careful about digging ditches, guys, for people, because it's the one you'll fall in. It is time for us to stand together, love one another, stop all this going back and forth and hating on each other because this one wears this one lives in this. No, we got to do better than that. God is calling on us to do better than that. Stop digging ditches for people. All right? Now I want to say something to all of you guys that are here, because a lot of you guys have tuned in today, and I want to make sure to say hello to you. So hello, Annette Jones, L. Jason, Annette, Ukichiwu Christian. I'm so sorry. I know I messed up your name, boo. Kevin, Monique, Jonathan, Sylvia, Ernestine, Leslie, Mary, Diana, Chris, Edward, Terry, Jimmy, my sis Ann, Ernestine, Juan, Michelle, Edward, LaFara, pretty name, Lizette, Starla, David, Rosalind, Mimi, Sonia, Jeffrey, Leela, Timothy, Keenan, Gladys, Sammy, Maurice, Venice, Elena, Peter, Angela, Francis, Alton, Vonita, Laura, Keisha, Apostle Reginald Stallworth, Kathy, Francis, and Andrew Banks. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the Mahogany Motivational Moment today. I hope that you guys got something out of it. Today it was all about digging ditches, and it was a modern day version of the Joseph story. You know, in the story of Joseph, yeah, he may have ended up in a pit and ended up in the palace. But in this story, she ended up getting her kids taken and going to jail because of DCF. I wanted to use something a little more modern that people can relate to. But in the end, she won because she got out and she got the position she had been believing God for anyway. So what men means for evil, God means for your good. I'll see you next time right here on Facebook Live tomorrow at 2 p.m. for the Mahogany Motivational Moment. Have a great rest of the afternoon. Love you.